Okay, so the first time I performed was in grade 1, and then at that time my teacher had given me and another learner in grade 7 a certain poem saying that the one who comes knowing it will then do it at the school concert. So then I performed at the school concert, and then when I was done, the standing ovation, the tears in people's faces just told me that I was born for this.
Yeah.
And that's where it just all began, and then yeah.
And
She passed since Botlhale Boikanyo first stunned South Africa on SA's Got Talent, and while some child stars fade into memory, others evolve into something entirely unexpected. But what happened after the applause faded? Where did her voice take her? And how far has she come since that show-stopping finale? You might think you know her story, but there's a chapter that's surprised even her most devoted fans. This is a journey about a young woman who isn't just chasing dreams, she's building something bigger, word by word, role by role, choice by choice. Her first language on stage was poetry, rooted in Setswana pride, braided with English lyricism, and carried by a presence beyond her years. As a child, she recited at school assemblies and community events, learning early that a poem can be a mirror, a shield, and a torch all at once. On SA's Got Talent in 2012, she stepped onto the stage with that same quiet certainty and detonated expectations. The tempo was measured, the imagery was bold, and the effect was electric. The youngest winner in the show's history, and the first poet to claim the title. Overnight, a country met a voice that sounded like it had been waiting generations to be heard. Doors opened to studios, to ceremonies, to spaces traditionally reserved for singers and dancers, because she proved a poet can fill an arena too. The momentum didn't stall. She captured that stage energy in the studio and released an album, not as a pop detour, but as a deliberate manifesto, spoken word and music. It felt like a live set cut to record, cadence, breath, call and response, poems orchestrated with music to carry them further. Recognition followed in the sharp light of awards night. Best Traditional Music Album at the South African Music Awards, a win that said the category of tradition is expansive enough to hold a 21st century praise singer with a pen in her hand and a mic at her mouth. In a scene sometimes suspicious of hybrid forms, this was validation that the poem, our oldest instrument, still evolves. Alongside the accolades, she kept showing up where poetry matters most, at the places where nation and narrative meet. She delivered tributes and anthems, opened programs that carry the names of icons, and turned special evenings into moments of witness. Invitations came not just because she is gifted, but because she understands ceremony, how to hold a room, how to lead a communal breath, how to offer reverence without losing a young artist's urgency. That mix, rooted and restless, became her signature. Then came the pivot that surprises people who still think of her only as the girl who won with poetry. She crossed into acting, and not as a novelty guest star, but as a working performer willing to start at the beginning and build. Her professional debut landed her in one of the country's busiest fictional universes, the E.TV soapy Scandal, where she played Omphila Gemma for 5 years, growing up on camera in a naughty family storyline that asked for range, patience, and the discipline of daily television. This was not the controlled solitude of a poem. This was an ensemble machine running at speed. She adapted, learned, collaborated, listened to directors, hit marks, tracked arcs, and played Omphila as more than a teen in turmoil. She made her a person. Viewers watched a poet become an actress in real time. Omphila's journey wasn't soft. Some story beats demanded a deeper reach. Grief, loyalty, sisterhood, the shock of a spiritual calling. At one point, the character confronted the possibility of a path as a healer, and the performance didn't lean into stereotype. It respected weight and nuance. The work asked for vulnerability in another medium, truth without the safety of her own words, and she met it. It's one thing to command a stage alone. It's another to weave your art into an ongoing world with many authors. That immersion recalibrated her instrument. She learned to let silence carry meaning, to hold a glance a second longer, to listen her way into a scene. Those are actor muscles, and she built them. Auditions led to films. In the award-winning short The Deal, she stepped into the lead as Tandeka, a young woman negotiating with a predator cloaked in promise, and stood opposite veterans of the craft. This wasn't an ornamental cameo. It was a challenging part with moral complexity, the kind of story that demands courage from a performer because it asks an audience to look at the exploitation so many would rather ignore. She carried it with a steadiness that comes from having already held a nation's attention while saying hard things. That short screened at the Nelson Mandela Foundation during Youth Month and traveled abroad. Another reminder that her work has feet. She kept stacking credits. What About the Boys confronted questions that live at the heart of our social crisis. Masculinity, harm, accountability. Cleavish added a different register. These choices sketch a pattern. She isn't just taking roles. She's taking a position, moving toward projects that meet her where her advocacy lives, where the poem and the performance want the same outcome. Conversation that changes something. On set, she's the one who knows how to pour meaning into a line and make a pause do work. Pause do work. That's poetry training, translated for the lens. The theater called too. She joined productions like Josie Joe and Maribu Seng, pieces that lean on ensemble rhythm and physical presence, the kind of rehearsals that stretch breath and body. Stage work returns her to the source, voice projected, movement intentional, the ritual of live exchange. That pulse is different from TV or film, but it's the same commitment. Serve the story, serve the audience, serve the moment. It's also where her praise-singing roots feel most at home. An audience within reach, call and response alive and immediate. Communion without a screen. Her range extends beyond scripts and sets. She held the mic as a presenter on the SABC1 edutainment staple, Tom's, where curiosity is the currency and young viewers are the mission. She co-hosted major live broadcasts such as the Satma Awards. Hosting is a different muscle again. Improvisation, timing, warmth, control, and she treated it as another craft to respect. It's all of a piece with the path she's drawing, a multi-hyphenate built on competence, not hype. As her portfolio widened, so did her sense of responsibility about who's watching and what they hear when she speaks. She didn't treat formal training as optional either. Even with years of professional experience, she went to AFTA and completed a bachelor in motion picture. This wasn't about collecting a line for her bio. It was about learning the grammar of the entire machine, producing, directing, editing, the choreography behind what we call a show. Knowing how a set works, how a budget breathes, how an edit can reshape meaning. These skills aren't just nice to have, they change the power dynamic for a young woman in the industry. Education became one of her tools for agency. The arc widened further with a selection that speaks directly to the kind of citizen artist she's becoming. In 2024, she joined the Mandela Washington Fellowship, the United States flagship program for young African leaders, and was placed at Michigan State University under the civic engagement track. That experience reframed the work. It's not just be excellent and be seen, it's be useful. It's about infrastructure, program design for youth, community development, the mechanics of advocacy that lasts beyond a single campaign hashtag. She returned with new collaborators, a broader set of tools, and a concrete plan for how art and activism can braid together at scale. What does that look like on the ground? It looks like workshops for teens on writing as self-definition and self-defense, It looks like community dialogues that use performance to open difficult conversations about violence, mental health, and possibility. It looks like a foundation architecture in progress, governance, partners, metrics, built to do more than raise awareness for a weekend. It looks like applying the lessons of the fellowship to her region, placing care and accountability at the center of programs that bear her name. It's the difference between being the face of a cause and building a home for it. Meanwhile, the poems never stopped coming. She takes them to stages and to screens, from formal events to digital premieres. Her YouTube channel has evolved into a living archive, vlogs from the road, crafted pieces, works in progress. And in 2025, she marked Women's Day with To Know a Woman, a poem that felt less like a performance and more like a letter passed hand to hand. She has been filming travel diaries, dropping process notes, and showing the unglamorous parts of making art under deadlines. That transparency is its own teaching. The poem you see in 3 minutes may have required weeks of drafts, breathwork, and prints of pages marked in ink. Her social feeds are not padding, they're part of the craft. She uses short-form video to test a cadence, to float an image, to feel audience medicine in real time. She still records tributes when the nation needs them, like rallying verses for a world-beating rugby team. And she still writes when the continent calls. You can track the evolution. The child's declarative pride has matured into a woman's layered insistence, celebration braided with critique, hope that refuses to be naive. This is how a voice grows up without growing dull. Acting continues, with selections that make sense for someone careful about narrative. She looks for scripts that respect young women. What does that look like on the ground? It looks like workshops for teens on writing as self-definition and self-defense. It looks like community dialogues that use performance to open difficult conversations about violence, mental health, and possibility. It looks like a foundation architecture in progress, governance, partners, metrics, built to do more than raise awareness for a weekend. It looks like applying the lessons of the fellowship to her region, placing care and accountability at the center of programs that bear her name. It's the difference between being the face of a cause and building a home for it. Meanwhile, the poems never stopped coming. She takes them to stages and to screens, from formal events to digital premieres. Her YouTube channel has evolved into a living archive, vlogs from the road, crafted pieces, works in progress. And in 2025, she marked Women's Day with To Know a Woman, a poem that felt less like a performance and more like a letter passed hand to hand. She has been filming travel diaries, dropping process notes, and showing the unglamorous parts of making art under deadlines. That transparency is its own teaching. The poem you see in 3 minutes may have required weeks of drafts, breathwork, and prints of pages marked in ink. Her social feeds are not padding, they're part of the craft. She uses short-form video to test a cadence, to float an image, to feel audience medicine in real time. She still records tributes when the nation needs them, like rallying verses for a world-beating rugby team. And she still writes when the continent calls. You can track the evolution. The child's declarative pride has matured into a woman's layered insistence, celebration braided with critique, hope that refuses to be naive. This is how a voice grows up without growing dull. Acting continues, with selections that make sense for someone careful about narrative. She looks for scripts that respect young women as agents, not accessories, for teams that take rehearsal seriously, for directors who understand that a poet's ear can sharpen a scene. She's taken meetings where she asks to read not just her sides, but the thematic spine of the story. She's developing a taste for parts that carry risk, roles that require a breaking open, where the stakes are not just whether a character gets what she wants, but whether the audience gets what they need: recognition, discomfort, the push toward empathy. The filmography on paper tells one story. The philosophy behind it tells the real one. So if you met her years ago as the girl on the luminous stage, meet her again now as a professional, with a deliberately diverse career. An actress whose credits are chosen with care. A presenter who understands the grammar of live television. A writer who never left the poem behind. A citizen learning the mechanics of change. A mentor who knows that a hand on your back is sometimes all that separates a dream from a plan. The little girl who could hold a nation still with a stanza grew up into a woman who can hold a room, a set, a schedule, a team, and a vision. And because you might be wondering, no, she hasn't peaked. There is a feature script on her desk with notes in the margins. There is a treatment for a docu-poetry series that could live on a streamer and in classrooms at once. There is a touring plan that routes through small towns, not just big city theaters. There is a book being assembled, piece by piece. The kind of book you underline. There are community partners drafting MOUs. There is a calendar on her wall with blocks of time labeled for learning, not just performing. There is a folder of future roles with names that will mean something to you one day. When the credits roll on the next project and the lights rise and you're back out in the ordinary air, remember how this all started. A child speaking a country into attention. That sound hasn't dimmed. It's just multiplied into scenes and sets and syllables and strategies. The journey was never just about applause. It was about building something bigger. A career that honors the gift, a practice that dignifies the audience, and a life that makes the future a little wider for the ones coming after her.